Quilt Shop, and this is Weekend Project. Happy to see every single one of you here today. We are working on a hanging basket. Pretty easy, pretty simple. Free pattern below where I found it. And I've loved them so much I made 8 so far. You gotta like them. Here is a few. I've done them in a few different ways so you can see them. This is a tougher fabric. It's kind of like a faux suede sort of thing. It's tan. I have a bit of it here at the quilt shop, and I've used it for many projects. And then I just have a regular cotton on the inside and then a little cotton tab. So there's really only 2 pieces to this pattern, the circle at the bottom, and then this piece right here. And then of course this tab here is 8 inches by 4 inches, and then just folded in on top of each other, very much like this right here. There, make it a little prettier. There, and then just sew down on each side, get you a tab just like that. Okay, and that's going to be your little handle or your hanger for your basket. Okay, so what else we need is we need a lining, a stabilizer, or a fleece. Now I have used fleece on this side, and then I've quilted it with some fancy little stitches to make it all nice and pretty. You can make them so they are reversible. I've made a few here with some black and some purple, and I really like the way they look. This is some micropolar fleece on this side, which I've quilted with the batting underneath, and then this is the lining is just plain cotton. Okay, so which I have not done. But you can make like a matching set for something, put them in the bathroom, put them at the front hallway, put them in the kitchen. There's so many versatile uses for this. If you're cramped for space, the wall space is an awesome, like for campers and little cottages and so on and so forth. Even in your craft space or craft room, you could have these hanging off your desk, holding different things like threads or spools or like needles or what have you, like little scrappy bits, or you can put your scrappy bits in it. So I have one actually hanging on the outcrop where the keyboard is for the long arm, and I'm putting my long arm threads in it. So it's fantastic as you use them. So I guess I've made more than that 8. It's okay. You get addicted. So here is the pattern that we're going to use so far here. Okay, and I have some more of this faux leather sort of thing. It's just it's kind of thick. It's got that bit of a texture on it. It's not too thick. I mean, it's got a bit of, it's just stabilizers. To me, it's like a fabric and stabilizer all in one. But if you have stabilizer, great. If you don't, then just use batting, because that's what I've used too. And there's some that are just the cotton on both sides that have no batting or stabilizer in between. The only thing for this one, I used the micropolar fleece for the bottom, so it adds a little bit of fluff to it. So, but if you don't have stabilizer or batting, you can just use just the fabric. Okay. So here is the pattern here, and this says put place on the fold right there. So here we go. Hold on. Let's do this right. Kind of turn around. Okay, so you want one for your outside fabric, one for your inner fabric, and then whatever you're going to use for your stabilizer or your batting for the fabric for the project. So what I have done here, because I'm using scrappy purples to make this happen, scrappy purple basket, I have my fabrics kind of laid out here. This was 2 extra strips from a quilt project. I think we did a baby girl quilt with it, and then these are just some other bits I found around. Here is what was left over from a nice big purple project that we worked on with some fancy stitches in between. I just kind of collabed it all together, and then going to be able to cut a circle out of the center of that. And then this, once we get it quilted, we'll fold it in half on the fold and be able to get the pattern of this out of it. Okay. All right. So let's start with that first. Let's do some quilting. Just some simple straight lines or wiggly lines or whatever it is you want to do just to get the 2 together. If you had like adhesive or something like that, you could do that too if you didn't want to quilt. Okay, so I'm going to turn my stitch up all the way to 5.0 and just kind of do like a little wave to the other end. Okay, super fast, super easy. Pin out of the way there. And of course we want to go and right onto what we're going to be using as our circular for the bottom. Okay, we want to quilt it all. Just trim or cut, sorry. And then drag it all the way back to the top. Do that several more times until we get it quilted the way we like it. Doesn't have to be a lot, just to get those two fabrics to stay together. There's like, got some cute little bit of Halloween fabric in here with some pumpkins. I'm not sure if that's going to get on it, but it's been used in other projects too. So, and so why it was a scrappy purple basket. Crafty purple circle basket. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. Oops, there we go. Okay, let's set this up. Go to the other side a bit. Now, the kind of fabric that we're going to need for this project for both pieces, as well as the inner, is going to be about 24 by 9 and then an 8-inch circle, approximately an 8-inch circle. So just a little bit inside that, but if you wanted to make sure you had enough, that's what you're going to need. Okay. And of course, you'll need that as far as whatever layers you want to do, whether you just want to do fabric or you want to use your stabilizer. Or use what I have extra around here, which is batting bits here and there, and utilize them to something more than just putting into a quilt. It is what is adding a little bit of stability to this project. So if you have a friend who has scrap batting bits, go ahead and grab them from them. They'll be happy probably to get rid of them, and you've got a new craft use for them. So. These make a fantastic gift for somebody. I'd say if you're going to make one, you might as well make them two, because they're definitely useful in all sorts of areas. I even have plans to put one near the door for the puppers. Make sure I've got her essential goodies. You know, I could always just take the whole thing and put it in the car. Okay, now we're going to take it, I'm going to separate the two so we can get the circle and the section together, and then separate them. So right down the center from here. Okay, and then for this one, we're going to fold it in half, okay, approximately half, okay, and then this is going to be our fold. Trying to get this fabric, that scrappy bit of fabric, a little bit more in the front, just in the front part of it, because that's where the fold sits, is in the front of the basket. Okay, and now I know I make sure I have enough on either side of these points to make sure that this is going to go fine. So let's put in a pin or two, or 8 or 12, whatever makes you happy. And now you can draw around the outside with either a washable pin or a pencil, or even just a pen or something like that, because nobody's ever going to see these marks. It's just going to be for you to cut, okay? So just sketch all the way around. And then when it comes to these parts right here and here, you're going to want to make it so you can actually see them. Even though you're cutting this part off, you're going to extend that line underneath just a little bit onto the inside of the fabric line, because we're going to be able, when we make these points, draw that line, we're going to have to make sure those lines come together so they make the pleat. Okay, you see that there? It makes the pleat in the pocket, in the basket. Okay, all right. So just make sure when you're marking around, you're doing that as well. Just grab a different one here. Let's see the pencil on some of this. Okay, and then once you get all that marked so you're happy with it, can show it to you. I'm going to get my bike up and going again for probably next spring. I like to put one of these on in the front of it just to be able to, you know, hold whatever I need, you know, an emergency snack. Okay, so we got those. We're going to use these lines to cut it out, and then we're going to use these markings on the back side of the fabric. Okay, so here we go. Actually, let's put this back together here so we don't have any shifts in our lines. Okay. And we're just going to use the chalk mark as our guideline for cutting. Okay. And these are just like so fun to do and so quick and easy. It's a great little project maybe to do for a guild meeting or something like that. You can make them all for the seasons, Halloween, Christmas, Easter, whatever, New Year's, birthday. You can make 24 of them for a big advent calendar sort of basket idea. And if you wanted to increase or decrease this pattern, like I said, you can just kind of go around it by you know, 1/4 inch or an inch or 1/2 inch or something like that, and you can make it a little bit bigger or a little bit smaller. Okay, now that's our scrappy bits off to the side there. Now we have this part, and we're going to lay it out like this, and we're going to take our template and we're going to line it up properly. Okay, first we'll do this side. Okay, and you can see a little bit through that where those lines need to be for the indentation, or for where we're going to put our dart. So we're going to mark it right there, and right there, and right there, and right there, and same with down here, here, and here. So you know where those ends of the pleats have to be. Okay, and then mark a little dot in the center. As you can tell, this is well loved and used. And then we're just going to flip the pattern and do the same on the other side. Exactly. Mark a little there. Mark there. Okay. And then we will take our ruler and we'll draw a line from where we marked on the outside of the fabric to where that little dot is. There. And there. Okay. And then you can really get to see where the pleats are, and there's the dot, so, and how fast they come together. So you have to do 8 per. I know it seems like a lot, but it really does make that the roundness of the toe. Oops, I missed one here. I missed them. Okay, so that's how you go with the pattern. Okay. And then once you get to this part, you're going to pinch it. So you're going to hold at the little dot part and then pinch and then fold over. So we got those 2 lines lining up against each other. One on this side and one on this side, okay, from there. Now if you want, you can just go put it right underneath the machine, but if you want to pin all 8 of them first, or make sure all 8 of them are all set up first, and then you just go stitch from here, do a little back stitch all the way down to where the point is, and then I usually just pick up the needle and then do the second one on this side instead of having to cut threads or anything. So we'll just pin that there. Okay, and then you're going to want to do that all the way around for the outside and inside of the baskets. Okay, and just pop a pin to keep it steady. There we go. Here. Okay, and then we're just going to sew to reinforce that pleat. Okay, it's going to look really pretty. So underneath the machine, start off at the outer line, do a little back stitch, come right down to the dot. The dot is right here. Oh, I left it on the bigger stitch. Okay, let's turn that back down to 2.4. Oopsies, okay. Oops. Okay, reshuffle. And then that's from the point up to the end. A little back stitch. A little back stitch. Alright, and the same up here. Do it for all 8 little pleats. Alright, and then just up the needle, scoot it down right where you need to be at that point. Back stitch, and back stitch. Okay. And once you get all those done, all the pleats done, okay, it's gonna look something. Take it when finished. No, I have 2 more to do. Okay, so here's for the inside. Let's get the 2 of this one done. Here's our lines. Oops. Oh, where is these guys supposed to go? There we go. See? Super easy. Okay, so this is our lining for this project, or for the one I have almost done. So let's get that finished. So you can see how to put the circular bottom on. Okay. Oops. Little tiny foot of my walking foot got stuck under. Okay, and then up the needle, move it over to position, making sure those 2 lines, the line on the back and the front, line up to each other. Okay, drop a little back stitch, and then that's done. Now we take this piece here, and we're going to put it together, and then sew down this seam right here. Okay, so right down there. But since this is the inside lining, we're going to want to give ourselves a gap about this much. Okay, about this much to be able to turn it right side out. It's easier to do it on the side, the back side part, than trying to do it around one of the edges of the circles. All right, make sure you give enough of a gap. And then you'll see this has more of a round part and more of a deep part to the basket. You can see when you look at it. Okay. Well, let's see if we go this way or this way. Okay. So what you want is the one that's more like flat, not so angular. Okay. And then once you have your centerpiece, let's finish cutting this one out. Your circle piece. Okay. On the circle, you want to mark the halves. So you fold it in half. And then you take your little pencil or your little marking tool and you just put a little tiny mark like that. And then you're going to fold it again and line those 2 marks again for like the north and the south. And then you're going to mark east and west. Okay, and then those 4 points will get you around your project. Okay, so you know this is a half, and then the center of this one where the fold meets is a half, so we can put a little mark there. And then we put those 2 to the ends, line up our pleats, and in the middle here, okay, is the other middles for this circle. Okay. Right there. So then what we want to do is these little dots, their little lines right here, we want to make sure they're lining up to ones on the inside. Of course, making sure right sides are together. We're going to pin, let's see, the north and the south, where those marks line up. Fold. If you find maybe your circle is just a little bit too big, give it a little trimming. Okay. And then in this one, make sure it's right there at the half part or the quarter part. Words are hard sometimes. Okay, and then here, another pin in. Okay, and then you just ease the rest. You see these little tabs? They're going to fit nice and comfortable in one direction. So just push it to the back, the little pleats. You can trim them off if you want to. I wouldn't go too close or you're going to end up losing your pleat. And then just work your way around, popping in a few pins to make sure it stays nice and circular. Okay. Maybe did I have the wrong one here? Which way did I do that? Oh, that's right. For some reason my circle's big. Hold on, let's back this up a bit. Okay. Trim our circle. Then we can fold it in the corners and we'll just give it a little trim around. Just a smidge, just a smidge. It's probably me getting all excited in the tracing. Okay, so just a little trim. Make sure everything fits nice and even. Okay, make sure we're happy with that. Give a circle a little haircut. Okay. Okay, can I still see my marks? Yep. Okay, maybe I didn't get this one as even as I should have. Okay, so let's start there. Nope, forgot to have a big pile of pins right beside me. And then this one right here is going to go there. This one here, it's going to go right in the center. These two pleats. Okay, this one here in the center of these two pleats. Alright, now we can just work the little gap in between. Alright, it's already starting to sit a little bit better. Okay, perfect. It's a great way to use up scraps, and like I said, if you're not sure what to make somebody as a gift, using your beautiful colored collection, especially if they have a favorite color, then you can make them a very unique piece of art, right, that they will treasure forever because it was made specifically for them and by the love of your hands. Okay, here we go. So we are ready to sew that all the way around. Some sewing machines have a little tray that you can pop out and be able to do things like pant legs and stuff. That's helpful in this situation, but it's not absolutely necessary. Janie here, this is what I call my Jonomi Horizon Memory Craft 6700P. I call her Janie. So we've named all the machines here. I'm sure you've named your machine too. What's your favorite machine and what is it? Here we go. We're going to start at the back seam. Okay. And I like working so that I'm working from the circle, not from the outside. But you just got to make sure you're shifting your fabric just a little bit, make sure it's all getting caught all the way around, okay? So just be a little patient. Don't go Speedy Gonzalez or crazy on the speed. Do a little bit of back stitch. Try to keep the 1/4 inch seam allowance. And be able to fluff the fabric under as you're turning. Try not to sew over your pins. It's not the best for your machine. You can throw your timing off. That's why it's best to go slow. Okay, shift. Turn. Lay the fabric flat. Turn. Pin out of the way. Temperature is definitely changing here on the east coast of Nova Scotia. today it's reading chilly at 14 degrees Celsius. Okay, now we're coming all the way back to where we started, and that circle is fitting much better than when we left it. If we had left it, it would have been too big. Okay, a little back stitch. Okay. Now we get to look on the inside. Now that we think we've got the top and the bottom of the fabric all together, we take a little quick look to make sure we've got everybody. We'll flip it right side out. Of course, this is where we're going to turn it right side out to begin with when we're finished the project. Make sure we've got everybody stitched down. That looks amazing. Okay, so once we get that, the top and the inside and the outside, whatever you're going to use for that, I'm going to use this one for my inside fabric. So I'm going to put the right sides to these together, okay, with my little tab pinned right at the center of the back. Okay, I'll move that to the outside once I get this one in here. Okay, so now we're going to take this one that's right side out, put it to the one that's right side in. Put them all the way around. Make sure it's all snug, and you're going to have your little tabs. You can either, like I say, trim them or make them so they lay flat in the direction of where they need to go. Let's flip this here. Take the pin out that's holding the little handle or hanger, and then repin that in the center. And then your pleats should pretty closely line up. You know, if they're not exact, it's okay. It's not going to ruin the project or anything. So, and then pop a few pins around. And then you're going to sew all the way around, okay? That's why we left this gap back here to be able to turn it right side out. So we have a nice clean finish all the way around the top, okay? There. Like I said, pleats should line up. They do there, which I'm happy with. There's been a couple times there's just been a smidgen off, but that's not a big deal at all. Okay? Don't let that discourage you. Okay? So then we sew all the way around, and then we end up turning it right side out, and we end up something beautiful, just like that. Okay? And if you didn't want to use any stabilizer or fleece, or batting, then you can just use regular fabric. Just realize it's going to have a little bit more of a flexibility to it. It's not going to stand up as stiff as that one. Okay, so let's go see what this beautiful project looks like once we're finished sewing all the way around here. Okay. Again, we're going to start at the back where the tab is. We're going to go just on the other side of the tab, do a little bit of back stitch, and then go across the tab. Maybe if you might think it might be holding some heavy stuff, then do like an extra. These could go great in the workshop or the garage to hold things for the washer or the dryer, or tools, or, you know, cables in the computer room, controllers. There's so little toys for kids. Make one of some you know, washable fabric, or even like a batik or something like that, so it won't fray, and you can have it so it hangs off like one of those little magic hooks in the bathtub, so all the little toys can go in there. Make it out of some mesh instead. You know, only limitation is your imagination, people. And of course you can go around and do a lovely little top stitch on top of all this. Back stitch, okay, and then we're going to pull it all through that little hole in the center that we made, okay? Right there. And we're just going to take it, pop it through. And before you go sealing up this hole that's on the inside, let's make sure it fits nice, looks nice, and there's nothing we have to correct. So here's where you get to roll your seams, so we get nice and flat looking. You can take a hot iron to it as well. Okay, it looks like we've got everybody around the top here. Okay, that looks adorable. Oh my goodness, love it. Scrappy purple basket. It's going to be purple circle basket. Oh yeah, there we go. And it's great when you can use stuff on the bottom, because these are baskets that are actually going to be able to be seen from the bottom, right? Because depending on where they're hanging. We've got some Canadian ones behind me here, and some other just fabric ones with this like faux suede sort of fabric. Quilt the inside, quilt the outside, whatever it is you want to do. The limit is only up here, right? So hopefully you enjoyed this fun little project. Of course, it's free. That is the best. And yeah, take care, have fun, and I can't wait to see what you guys make with this sort of idea. Okay, take care, have fun. We'll see you soon.